Good morning. So, I fell asleep last night. I had a long day yesterday. But I just wanted to encourage somebody because sometimes when we're going through life, right, in our journeys, and we see other people in their journeys, we take the focus off of us and we put it on someone else. And we miss what God is doing in our life, right? So, in this stretch, right, with God and me, because I feel like I was feeling like he took my support. You know what I mean? And it hit me, right, as I'm working and I can't be two places at once. And I'm sorry. I can't be two places at once, right? But if I'm not here, then I can't do this. And if I'm here, then I can't do that. I can't just, call my mom or call my dad to be like, yo, can you XYZ or whatever? Because that's what I'm used to. We don't know what we got until it's gone. And I'm just going to say that. Like, people, that's why I always tried to, like, treat my parents, even though I didn't agree with them or what they said or whatever, and I would take it to God because I have a way. I'm sorry, I didn't know this was going to happen. But I have a way when people say words to me, right, or do stuff to me, I can dissect that thing, right? And I internalize it and I do so much, like, it just become like that or whatever, what you said, even though what you say sometimes you don't really mean it, but I take it to heart because I really try to pretty much, if I say something, I meant it. And I'll say I meant it. And I might say, well, sorry, but that's what it is or whatever. But I try not to say things from my heart that I really don't mean. Because God's really been dealing with my heart. You know what I mean? So if I don't say anything, I could be thinking something and I'm not going to say it because I know it can hurt somebody or break somebody, right? But what I'm saying is, right, yo, we don't know what we got until it's gone. I'm telling you. And and my dad just had his heavenly birthday or whatever. And I'm like, Dad, like, I didn't really realize because sometimes grieving can happen anytime, right? And I tried not to think about it. Like, we had the funeral, we have this or whatever. And I was like, I was a daddy's girl. You feel me? And I'm like, I know I made a lot of bad decisions and I know I picked a lot of wrong men, but that was not because my dad treated me wrong, okay? My dad was always here. My mom and my dad was never married, but they were co-parenting, whatever you want to call it, that's what they did, okay? For us and their grandchildren. They were always present and it was always visible in our life, even through every dysfunction, through everything, you know what I mean? And I was like having a moment because I'm like, God, like, look, being a single mom is not for the weak. When you're trying to work, take care of all this stuff, it's not for the weak, yo. And I guess I never really had to experience it until my dad died. Until, because he was my backup plan. He was the one, when I didn't want to do anything, he did things. Like, he took them. You know what I mean? Because as he was telling me, and I'm realizing it, and God is really dealing with me, that I really don't have patience for nonsense. I really don't. And it bothers me with the patience and all this stuff. And I'm like, yo, how do you have kids if you don't have patience? I guess at one point in time with them when they were younger and they were learning, I had patience. But now with the nonsense, I do not have patience, and God has been dealing with me. You hear me? Because I'm like, God, I'm telling you, this tug of war, and I mean, it's a tug of war. It's a tug of war. It's a tug of war, okay? Because I'm like, God, you know this is wrong, and you want me to be just like, okay, accept it? Like, really? And I like literally, I may be quiet, but I'm literally having a tug of war. And I'm like, God, and I know eventually it's gonna be let go because I had went through this when I became sober. And let me tell you guys out there, and what I'm learning is because I literally started cursing, and I was like, God, I would never curse like this. But I started cursing. But the root of it was because, and God showed this to me, that I'm angry, right? And I said, God, why am I so angry? I was like, why am I angry? Why am I so angry? And certain things started coming up, right? Because we really don't grieve. We don't grieve properly, right? Even though I'm like, I went through the emotions and all that stuff, but I didn't grieve properly. And some things in our hearts we hold hostage, right? And we don't really let go. You know how I know? Because if you're sitting in a space in a room, right, and you're having a conversation, and God showed this to me too, and you just all of a sudden just starts talking about something, because I call them triggers. A conversation can trigger a moment or something that happened to me, and then I just have to get it out, right? And I'm like, God, that sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. But then he started letting me know that I really never dealt with certain things. And I'm like, God, I thought at this age, right? You'd be like, I thought I dealt with that. Like, why is this coming up? Like, why? And then I'm infamous for this, for God, because you're my protector. You're my everything. And if you want me to stay in line, why are you allowing this to happen? And that's where I get stuck at, because you want me to literally not do anything and let them do everything. But then I thought about it. If the enemy can pull you out of a place where God has delivered you from, if he can pull you out a place out of your deliverance when God delivered you, then he won. That's why I put on my post, because I was listening to something that me and the devil had a tussle. But I won, and it's a song. I like them old school songs. Like, they just do something to my heart. It's something about I have an old soul. And I was thinking, I'm like, God, you have really, like he is really, he has really been my everything. And I remember Sister Deneen telling me when my dad died, and I go back to the conversation because God has literally been my keeper, okay? Because no, I didn't really want to be a single mom, but some of the stuff that these women go through, I can't go through it, okay? I go through it for a little bit and I'm like, yo, this is not for me. I gotta go. Like, we is not going to be mentally put me down. We're not going to be trying to control me and all this and that. And you know what the ironic part is? I don't care about being submissive, because in a relationship, I am very submissive and laid back. This side, we're cool, so you're going to see this side. But the other side of me is like, yeah, I do want to do what I want to do. So that's why I'm dragging my feet, because when I think about it and when I see other people in these marriages and relationships and stuff, and I'll be like, it ain't all cracked up. Like, if I wait this long to be with somebody that is all jacked up, I am going to be upset. Okay? So I'm okay. I said, God, I'm okay with waiting. Okay? If I have to wait until you work out these little kinks in me so I can have more patience to deal with whatever, but I am not dealing with nonsense. I don't care. I'm not waiting. I don't like, look, I know my timing is not God's timing. I know God's timing is what I need, right? But my timing could be like now. I want it now. I want it right now. And God be like, no, Shantae, patience, right? So I'm learning to wait on God's timing because I be telling people all the time, like, it ain't a problem getting into a relationship or having a relationship. It's the fact of having the right one, okay? If I work my butt off, right, every day, why would we think it's okay for you not to work okay? Like, we're not doing that. We're not. And sometimes the insecurity of just wanting somebody to fill a space, we will allow a person to operate or invade our space just for the D, okay? And I don't isn't that's not a thing for me no more. I'm telling you, and that's how I know I'm matured because look, let me tell you, the DMs be popping, but I would have been, you know what I mean? I was like, God, you could tell. But do I get tempted? Yes, I get tempted. I get tempted. People been sending me dick pics, okay? And I'm like, God, so this is what you gonna do. You know I'm trying to save myself now. And then I hear all this stuff like, oh, now you got 4 kids and da. That don't bother me because being in a relationship has never been a problem for me. It's being in the right relationship, right? We can't be women of God and be like, oh God, because this is what I thought. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanted to bring him in here and let God do. I wanted to pick him and I wanted God to do whatever he could do, the miraculous in him. But we learned that he has to be a willing participant, right? So I'm like, yo, why are you trying to do all the work, draining yourself and all this? And when God just said, wait, be still, like, what are you doing? It's he who finds a wife finds a good thing, not she who finds him, clean him up and bring him to the Lord so the Lord could continue to. No, it's not that, okay? But that's what we be doing. We be doing it. And then when we have sex, it just makes it hard. It's a soul tie. It just gets deep from there, okay? Because now you start caring about certain things. Yeah. I ain't built for this anymore. I'm getting older. Yep, I'm getting older. I'm gonna admit, yeah, I'm only 40, but I don't got time for high school stuff anymore. Like, these men are too grown to be acting like a child. And I am a boy mom. And literally, I am really hard on him. I'm hard on him. And, like, I have to let my no's be no's and my yeses be yeses with my children, and especially my son, because I do not want him being with nobody just to take care. No, we're not doing that, okay? We're not doing that. So I'm like, God, it ain't what I thought, but whatever you got for him, I want him to be a good man, and I don't want him to be like his mama and his father, okay? No, I never wanted none of my kids to be like me, because I knew that I was like, God, like I would pray when I was like, I would pray and I would be like, God, I don't know how my parents loved me through having a child at 15 years old, but not just having a child at 15 years old, but I had a child with a grown man, right? But then literally, I'm like, God, that literally wasn't my fault. If somebody is grooming you, that is not your fault. But I'm learning, because this still comes up. Like, I in my sober mind, get triggered, okay? And I'm like, God, why is this coming up after so many years? Like, we already dealt with this. And, you know, and people's like, oh, it don't take all that. It does, because it runs deep. It runs deep, baby. It runs deep, because we think we be on the surface, but God be trying to uproot. When you ask God to uproot some things, he's doing, and you like, wait, hold on. Wait, God, wait. Where did that come from? Like, I know I'm going over the place, but I was somewhere and I start smelling liquor. I was like, God damn, like, why am I smelling liquor? And I start looking around like, is there liquor around here? Like, what is going on? I smelt it, you know what I mean? But I'm like, God, touch my mind, touch me. And I just was like, that is a place that I can't go back to. And I'm not boasting because I cursed, but then I'm learning that the reason why I'm cursing is because I didn't understand. I didn't know that I was a little angry. Okay? A little angry. And I was like, God, all right, so now we got to the root of this thing because I've been asking you about it for weeks and now you're just telling me, okay, you're angry. So what am I angry about? Then this other stuff, the other line stuff is like, I am and always will be a daddy's girl. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, my dad was there and he did everything for me. I had to share my dad because I'm the oldest and I had to share my dad with but I didn't mind sharing. Like, I'm a sharing person. I'm a giving person. But my whole thing is, right, I didn't share. I shared, right? And I feel like, who's sharing with me? That's how I be thinking. I'm like, dang, I done shared my mom, my dad, everybody, and who's sharing? Who's sharing? Because people are selfish. But I thank God that I really do thank God for my spiritual parents. I really do. I really do, because I know they're only a phone call away, and I really thank God for just allowing me to be able to be transparent and authentic, because sometimes being authentic is embarrassing. It really is. But I don't care because I'm repping God, and he's like, literally, he's my everything. Literally, I know I may stumble, I may fall, I may trip, but I know I get back up. And there's certain things that, people throw at you, but it ain't gonna stop nothing. Seriously. I was telling guys, like, as long as you give me breath in my body to do what I need to do, because there's, like, some goals or whatever, and it's taken a little long to do it because I messed up, but I'm like, God, as long as you do what you said, what you promised, because you're a promise keeper, you're a way maker, and I am a living testimony that he is. Like, I was like, you are. Like, I see things in my sober mind, and sometimes I can't believe it. Like, it tickles me because I did everything drinking. Literally, it felt like I was drinking with every little thing. And it's taken me a while to enjoy the enjoyment of me being sober, because I fed myself that I had to drink to get along with people or to be cordial or to be all these things. And it's like, now it's like, okay. And I was telling myself the other day, I was like, yo, your introvert is starting to introvert. And I'm like, and I had to be like, no, I cancel that in the name of Jesus, because God has brought you out of being an introvert, because you are you're victorious and you're not a victim. When you become an introvert, it's something that is you've been victimized, and you don't know how you're socially awkward, right? Because some things happen and you can't process it up here. And I was like, I've been past that. I'm not going to start speaking that over my life. You know what I mean? Because I'm out of that. I've worked in sales. I am a letter carrier. I'm like, all these things. And I'm like, I've overcome. So why would you be sober and try to go back into being an introvert? Like, no, you drove to Florida. Like, you did too many things. I know it wasn't documented, but you did too many things for you to go back into yourself to be self-absorbed. No, we're not being self-absorbed. You are not an introvert, because you're overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony, right? So why would you start speaking what the enemy is trying to speak over you when God has already delivered you? And I had to tell myself this. Like, girl, you need to get it together. And I had to have these moments. Like, I had to have a 60-second moments to tell myself that, look, girl, I had to have a count, because I have to acknowledge God in all his ways and all the things that he's done for me, because sometimes we don't acknowledge him. We don't. So I'm like, God, I need to acknowledge you. I acknowledge everything. It may not be where I want it to be right now, but I just thank God. Like, I literally just thank God. You don't understand, man. This girl has come a long way and still got ways to go. Still got ways to go, and God is not finished with me or you yet. So it's like, I came to encourage you, to tell you that, look, just because you may see a person as okay, don't mean that they're okay. Don't mean that they got it all figured out. Don't mean that, no. We still need God. I want God on another level. So I don't want to just look like I have God. I need him. Like, I need him. And mentally, physically, and emotionally, and then I'm like, see, God has to deal with me in a different way. Like, he has to show me certain things. And I'm like, well, he don't have to do it, but he does, to let me know that it's him, right? And I'm like, God, thank you. Thank you for, thinking of me. Thank you, God, because you are awesome, right? And sometimes we don't realize that. Like, we don't realize the little stuff that he does. It's the little things in God that moves a mountain. A mustard seed is so small, but it can move a mountain. And he told me, well, God, I'm like, God, why am I like going through this? And it was my faith. You know what I mean? Like, it's certain things that God will let you know it is, without you doing all this extra stuff to do, your faith. Like, okay, God, all right, working on it. And then you gotta go to the backstory of like, why is it like this, right? And I realized it's like certain things that happen I didn't really deal with. I just was like, okay, I need to go on to the next one. And I'm like, I had to bring myself back, because when I was in therapy, it was like, when something happens, you're grieving. It can be anything, a loss, anything. Take 30 minutes and think about it and properly go through the emotion without any interruptions. Go through what you're feeling. And I had to go back to that, because I realized, yo, you really didn't go through this emotion. You just passed it, because I wasn't ready to face it. I wasn't ready to go through it. I wasn't ready to feel it. I wasn't ready to, be angry. But then angry start coming up. Being upset start coming up. Disappointed start coming up. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, I'm doing, good or whatever. But I had to go back, and I had to go through these emotions, because I can't allow it to stop me from where I'm going. You know what I mean? And how I'm thinking. So shifting my paradigm and shifting my mindset to think further than where I'm at. Because, man, you will get lost if you start looking at the outer appearance and it's not where you want it. And you're like, okay, so God, what now? But I'm like, you got to reach down within yourself, and you got to see what God sees. Like, you got to see what he sees. Like, you got to see what God sees for your life. Because if you're taking a breath and you're still here, God still has purpose for you in your life. It may not be, extravagant, but he has purpose for you, because he will leave the 99 to come for the one. And you are the one. So I'm just saying, all that to say, let God be your everything. Seriously, let him be your everything. Let him be your fortress. Let him be your strong tower. Let him be your rock. Don't let the rocks cry out. You cry out for him, because that's what he wants. All he wants is that conversation, man. And sometimes we don't think that we're good enough for anything. But God said, I had put life in you for you to be good. He said, and it was good. When he made man, he said, and it was good, right? So it's like, he already prophetically spoke over our life, And he said it was good, but the enemy will tell us it's not. So we got to X the enemy, and we got to listen into his voice, because we are supposed to go through some things, but we're supposed to bounce back. But if we don't got the proper word or the proper, foundation or whatever, it's going to overtake us. And guess what? You're the light. You're the light that people's going to see, even when they try to trample over you, even when they say bad things about you, even when they feel like they gotten over on you. Vengeance is the Lord's. And even some of them want you to curl up in a ball and act like, no, you got to keep walking. You got to keep pushing, because God is your fortress and he's your protector. And he dispatch angels on your behalf. He sends blessings on 2 feet. I'm telling you, he's a way maker. He's our creator. He already created these things for us, but we just got to open up our minds and we got to see it. We got to do it. And this is where it is. You know what I mean? Some people think if it's in their strength. And I was like, God, remove me away from this. Like, I don't have to do all this. I'm doing it. And I'm like, God, your will, not mine. Because sometimes we overtake what God's trying to do. And I had to back up, because I'm like, God, what am I doing? It ain't supposed to be like this, right? So I'm like, yo, Shantae, you got to back up. And I was like, God, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be here? And then I'm like, I was almost, let me tell you, I was like, God, am I doubting? Like seriously, I had to have these conversations, because these things get real when you start working and plowing and all this stuff, and you're like, Dad, I think I'm working too much. I think, you know what I mean? But anything that takes you away from God, that's not what God has ordained for your life. And I'm like, we're stuck between, realities and what God wants. But we gotta make God our reality, like literally. Because sometimes you can do something and it still not be enough. You hear me? That's what I was saying. I'm like, God. And I'd be like, God. And I know he's tested me, because he know, I would revert back to my old ways. And I'm like, I can't do that no more. I really just can't, because I just fear, I fear that I'm not going to be able to get out this time. If I go back, I don't, mental capacity. Like, I'm like, God, if I do this, I don't think I can go back. I'm scared. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I literally be thinking like, I don't know, because I know better. And before I knew better, and I was just like, God knows my heart and all this. And I'm like, girl, I really I'm scared. I ain't gonna lie, because I'm like, God, I know you are a forgiving God, and but when you know better, you got to do better. Like, and I'm like, I can't. And the one thing is this cursing. I like to curse. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know where it came from, but I was like, it gotta go back to the pit of hell where it came from, because I can't be cursing. Like, I can't be blessing God in one manner and then cursing. No, I can't do that. Like, I was like, God, you gotta help me with this. Like, where is it coming from? And he showed me where it's coming from, and I'm dealing with it. I was like, God, I have to deal with this. Until then, I'm like, I've been cursing. And I know I may not sound right cursing, but it feels good. I ain't gonna lie, it feels good. I ain't gonna lie. But God, I was like, God, I have to stop. And then, what was weird? Like, you gotta be careful what you say around these kids, man, because they pick up everything. I guess my grandbaby heard me say OS. And one day she said it. I'm like, wait, hold on. Did I say that? And she's repeating me. I'm like, oh my God. I said, you cannot say that. My mom didn't mean to say that. So I felt bad, because that's the one thing you're not going to be learning from me, is how to curse. But yeah. And what Reverend told me is a lack of vocabulary, but it's not a lack of, well, it is a lack of vocabulary, but it's something deeper than that. It's coming from a place where anger is, you know what I mean? But we're dealing with it. All right, so this is real talk from the heart. And I just wanted to babble this morning. Good morning. Hope you have a good day, as I have a good day. I'm on my 6th day of work. Yeah, it was a long night last night. I'm tired, but I had to get up this morning. So have a great day. Be safe. Live on purpose and remember who God is over your life.